Hello everyone, and welcome to this documentary on the sport of medieval combat fighting. In this documentary we'll be going over the following information: the history of medieval combat fighting, what it's become in the last 20 plus years, and extra rules and information that you would need to know when joining the sport.
Medieval fighting goes back over 1,000 years, and the main reason you would have fought was if you committed a crime or the ruler of said country said you had to fight. The main games or battles they had were jousting, long sword fights, polearm fights, and sword and shield fights. In the past 20 plus years, there have been 2 federations created to take part in the sport of medieval combat fighting for all around the globe. The first federation created was HMB, otherwise known as Historical Medieval Battles. They were made back in the late 1990s, and their main purpose was to allow fighters to fight in legal competitions. Then there was a new foundation called IMCF, founded back in 2013 in response to a dispute between national teams and the organisers of the Battle of Nations competition. Basically, the foundation was made to exclude Russia from tournaments due to their teams winning a little too often. Why do you participate in medieval combat fighting?
It's such a dynamic sport of combat. The adrenaline you get, the excitement you get from it, just one-ups everything else, any other sport I wanted to look at.
I guess it's fun, you get to hit people, and I always wanted to do a sport with swords.
Because I like to fight, I enjoy hitting people, I like the team.
What types of armour do you use, and what era is it from?
My armour is 15th century mostly. It's a brigandine type armour for the chest, and a wolf rib style helmet.
It's European, 14th century.
Western armour, its range is about, I think it's about 1400.
What kind of fights do you like to participate in, and why do you participate in them?
So far I'm really liking the boo-hurt more than the duels, just because it lets me be a little bit more physical. I don't have to be as fast or as fit. That's always a help.
I like boo-hurt fights because I like the team. I'm not an individual fighter, so I can rely on my teammates to help me out, and I can help them out as much as I can.
HMB and IMCF state there is teams across 40 separate countries in the world. Thousands and thousands of members are also registered to take part in the sport, and there are tens of thousands of fans across the globe who attend each event. Helmets can be made of stainless, mild, or hardened steel. Titanium is not permitted. Every helmet must have a faceplate with 1.5mm thickness, but it also must keep the medieval style. Anything not medieval based is not allowed. Any of the torso and limbs can be made of stainless, mild, or hardened steel. Titanium measured at 1mm can be used for the arm, legs, and upper body. While titanium is used for the spine and back, it must be 1.5mm thick and provide the protective protection equivalent to 0.6mm hardened steel. Hands must be protected by gauntlets made of steel plates. Any gauntlet used by the fighter must be within their region and time period as the rest of the armour. Any gauntlet must protect the wrist and fingers of both hands at all times. Should a finger be exposed, you will not be granted the right to fight. One-handed swords, including falchions, must be a minimum length of 30 cm to a maximum length of 110 cm. Long swords must be 110 cm to 140 cm, and two-handed swords must be a minimum length of 140 cm. All striking edges on an axe and pole arms must be a minimum length of 7 cm. Shields can be made from wood, wicker, leather, or metal. All shields should be based on reliable historical sources and correspond to the region and time period of the fighter's armor and weapons. Stabbing is forbidden and grounds for immediate sanction. The non-legal strike zones are the feet, ankles, back of the knee, groin and the neck. Tripping other fighters is allowed. A fighter is allowed to hit the enemy with their weapon or shield anywhere on their body as long as it's not an illegal hit zone. A fighter can strike with any part of their body to take out the enemy. The local commands break and fight are only for the fighters in a lock. If a yellow flag is raised up in the fighter's face or near their face, this is another way of being told stop fighting. Well, that's all you will need to know when it comes to the sport of medieval combat fighting. I hope you all enjoyed, and this is a goodbye.